coffee. Should I have topped my coffee off?
And we are live. A little late.
Hey, welcome. Catholic Gates Live Supershow. Edgar Lujano,
Hello.
Jeff Anderson. You know them by other names, Edgar Luano, Jeff Cam, but here they are. I'm Cy Kellett, your host.
Delighted to be here.
Do you guys have people in your life who seem to be living their glory days, the high school years, or when they were popular, or when they were you know people like that?
I know people who... I went to my 10-year high school reunion coming up on 10 years ago, and the popular football player was sitting at the bar, just overweight, just scruffy, and just, yeah, you peaked at high school. Had that.
How about how about you? Did you want to say something?
I was just going to say, I really haven't seen my high school folks since like the 5-year reunion when everybody's still
Same person.
not gotten fat, yeah.
Not gotten fat.
But that like I love that song "Glory Days" when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and then I
Bruce
grew
Springsteen.
up. I got a totally different perspective on it.
Yeah.
And it's still a great song, but
it's a great song, but he's saying it's a little bit pathetic
yeah,
to be constantly reliving your glory days.
Yeah.
Well, how bad do you think it would be if your glory days involved you literally, well, I shouldn't say that because it's not actually literally, being a goddess. How do you think you'd get over
Literally
that?
being labeled a goddess.
Being labeled a goddess. Yeah, your feet didn't even touch the ground. Like I mean, sometimes they touch the ground, but not outside. Your feet couldn't touch the ground outside because you are a goddess. I saw there was an interview with this young woman, Preeti Shakya, and it's hard not like. Is she named after the English word pretty? I don't know.
Probably not.
But Preeti Shakya is Tibetan. And when she was 3, she was chosen in Kathmandu as the goddess. And I got to find the name of the god. Do you guys remember the name of what the goddess is called?
I don't remember.
No. Well, anyways, so she is she's a Kumari. She was chosen as the royal Kumari. So then you're the goddess from 3 years old to 11 years old. And now she's like just a normal, I mean, I hope maybe she's not a normal person. Maybe she's like totally messed up from this. But this is like Michael Jackson level stuff. Like, how do you deal with the fact that I used to be a goddess, but now I'm a student. And then you just go back to being a regular kid at 11.
just like a regular Olsen twin at 11.
That's actually a great equivalent there,
Yeah.
Treated like goddesses and then thrown out into a world like a normal human being.
Yeah.
Well,
it's fascinating.
It is fascinating, and she's chosen because she has all these perfections. So I guess there's like 32 perfections you're tested on, and so it's like I don't know, like a 3-year-old, not just beauty contest, but it's
beauty contest.
It's kind of brutal. It seems kind of brutal, and then she has to endure some stuff, and then if she endures it with tranquility. And if she got all these other perfections and then she shows this endurance with tranquility, then they go, yeah, she's the goddess. And then she spends spends the next 8 years as the goddess.
But there are other Kumaris, but she was selected as
I think the name is she was called the Tip Top Kumari.
That's exactly
Is that
what
what
it
it
is. That's
is? The
exactly
tip-top?
it. Yeah, that's the technical
She's
term. Yep.
Or maybe it was Tippity Top. I'm not exactly sure. No, she was the Grand Kumari, and it's just like that's kind of foreign to us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe in your were any of your kids gods or goddesses?
They missed. They failed.
They didn't show the proper tranquility.
The room of horror part. No, I think it's fascinating, and actually, that makes me want to read about this more. And I asked my wife right before I came on the show, like, do you know anything about this? And of course she does because she travels and she's read about this. But
and I rightfully asked, has she met her? Because she travels and she's met who knows how many people.
She has not yet. But like, these are the things that when you go around the world or when you read some interesting books, this is so foreign to us. I mean, like in so many ways. How many different ways can something be so completely foreign to us? So I think it's fascinating.
It is fascinating and a bit disturbing because it has these weird Disney kid parallels. You know, it's like these this community. I think it's almost 2,000 years ago, maybe more like 1,200 years ago. They invented the worst thing you can do for a kid. And then Disney didn't get around on that bandwagon.
Actually, it's the 1700s that they discovered it.
No, it was earlier than that.
No,
it was 1700s?
in our calendar, it's in the 1700s. In their calendar, it's like the year 800 and something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Who read the article?
I did, but I missed the calendar detail there.
I missed that too. I must have misunderstood because I had the impression it was much older than that.
The Kumari tradition started in the year 877 of the Nuwari calendar. Gautam says, which is 1757 AD. You're welcome.
Why are you like you ate the cat that got the canary? Why are you?
I don't know.
So, okay, I'll step in and fix the awkward here.
Yeah. No, I don't think you can, Jeff. I don't think you can.
No such thing.
I'm curious if George Lucas knew about this when he created Queen Amidala, because there seems to be some parallel, although, of course, Amidala is a political figure, and
she
this
kinda
woman's
looks
a
like
religious
that,
figure.
too.
But those costumes were from Mongolia.
Yeah, but ballpark.
Ballpark.
You know, and then but
Yeah.
then just the facts of the colors and the face paint and the
Well, even the hair, like the headdress and everything, it looks like Queen
yeah.
Amidala, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird. It's not weird. I shouldn't say weird. It's a combination of Hinduism and Buddhism that they practice. So, so it's not exactly like everything else, but you know, it's not. It doesn't fit neatly into a category that most people would recognize. But I just found it fascinating, not because of a critique of other people's religious practices, but as a oh my gosh, this has got to be like to actually have been a goddess. And she comes across as kind of a normal person now. She likes jean jackets. I like that about her. I think that's cool. But it just seems such an intense thing that the practice was first recorded in 1280. What are you talking about
What?
over there? 1280. It's 800 years old.
Okay.
Wait just a second. Let me get.
Let's have the chat take a look. Can you look it up? Can you Google it for us, chat?
Sorry, I read the wrong date, I guess. I don't know, but I think I'm still right. Anywho, I mean, I was the part I was reading about the family having to give this.
That part's hard.
How could it not be hard? I mean,
Right.
You're giving up your 3-year-old child for the world to literally the world to worship, their religious world to worship. But it's weird because they said that they were sad, but they were also very happy that their child is going to be worshipped now. It's a weird concept.
Yeah, it's probably
It
a
is.
huge benefit for the
But
family.
isn't it the Disney parent thing? Like the
That is the Disney parent
It's like
thing.
you got to turn them over to Disney. I mean, or like Judy Garland went through a very similar thing. She turned over to MGM, and now I bet these people treat them better than MGM treated Judy Garland. You know, she was just they turned her into a drug addict as a child.
Yeah, it's tragic.
And it was brutal treatment. So. But that's what the parallel. That's what struck me seeing this article. This parallel to some of the we turn like we make goddesses or gods out of like Mick Jagger's doing all these interviews because the Rolling Stones have a new album. They've been for the last 20, 30 years they've been making irrelevant albums. So they have a new one coming out. Sorry, Darren, did that hurt? No, you're okay with that? You don't mind?
Not really a Stones guy.
It was just a smart aleck remark. And everybody's always asking Mick Jagger, like in these interviews, all the interviewers, who are almost universally terrible, by the way, like they don't ask him the stuff you really want to ask Mick Jagger, like what's it like to be one of the most famous, recognizable people in the world? He's like, I don't know, he says in his weird Mick Jagger way, like, oh, I don't know. I've never been anything else. Like, oh, that sounded like a Beatle. That didn't sound like a Rolling Stone. But we do the same thing. Like a rock star is a god in a way. It's not. It's analogous, of course, but that's the status. And so, seeing someone literally have lived as a goddess is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, with the goddess thing, of course, it's not a true religion, but there's maybe at least a sense of piety involved there. Whereas with the Disney star, the rock star, there's
I see what you're saying,
not so
yeah.
much of a piety thing, and often the exact opposite.
Right, and so I think there is a sense here in which it's the child is the goddess, but the child is also the conduit to the goddess, and so there is a true desire for an encounter with what's holy, in being practiced in, frankly, a very misguided way, but nonetheless sincere, and a loving God would treat every sincere approach to him as honorable, I'm sure. But it just seems like an awful lot to put. Hey, you did it. You're a goddess. Congratulations. Can we play princess? Why play princess? You're so much higher than a princess. Literally a goddess.
Yeah, there's a reason they don't have boys do it too, because the girl can't touch the floor, but like the boys squirreling away. You imagine they tried it once or twice, maybe they're like, hey, no, let's.
But
see if we can
she
get some
said
girls.
she saw pictures of Western dress, and she wanted to wear it as a child. So she did get some, or maybe not Western, but secular, And so she got some regular dresses that she could wear while she was doing her studies, because she's in it's like a little school for them. And but they all had to be red because
It's the color of the goddess.
it's the color of the goddess. Where do you get little girl red dresses? I'm very suspicious of who's making red dresses for little girls.
You know what?
Stop it.
Small Wonder. Remember Vicky from Small Wonder?
No, I don't.
In the
know.
80s?
What is
Oh, that was probably after your time.
everything?
Before your time, after your time, right in the
Right.
middle of my time. This is a little robot girl from like the 80s. It was kind of like a second-rate show. Darren, do you remember that? Do you remember Small Wonder? No? Okay. I know somebody out there does, somebody in the chat. But she wore red dresses all the time.
They're all named Shakya though, so Shakya must be the name. Like, or is everybody in Tibet named Shakya? I don't know. I don't know that much about Tibet. But.
You know what I found interesting about this is that she was worshipped by two specific religions in Nepal. It's not. Yeah, it's the Hindus and the Buddhists, which is interesting because I didn't think Buddhists actually worshipped. But maybe it's a sect of Buddhism.
Yeah, right. There's all kinds of.
There's more syncretism there too.
Yeah. I found that fascinating. I guess. Yeah, the traditions just mingling.
So tell me, like you go on a date. So tell me about your childhood. I was a goddess. You're like,
Right, yeah, get off your high horse.
My dad was the same way with my sister. No, not my dad. An entire nation treated me as a goddess. Yeah, it's but it is lovely that she turned out okay. At least she seems to have turned out okay. But I always feel that way about these superstar kids. Some of them, it's absolutely a shattering experience, and others, it's something they pass through and seem to find health. And I think it has to do with, well, I'm sure it's a different experience for everybody, but also the person has some reserve they must draw on in order. Like you think about Ron Howard. He's a super famous kid, Ron Howard. And he just seems to grow up and be a normal person with a lasting marriage and kids. And then you think of other people of the same era who were super famous, and they're like, I don't know, they like died of a cocaine overdose or...
Yeah, I think there's a lot of early abuse, so maybe Ron Howard was able to avoid that. His parents could steer him clear of it or something.
In some ways, fame is abuse of a child.
Yeah, simply,
I
mean, beyond that, but you're right.
But
So do you think that she simply being in the position that she was abused because of all that, I guess, fame you can call it, because of
I think
they were
it's
doing?
abusive. Yes, I do. I think if you, in an objective sense, yes, it's abusive to single a child out like this and give them the oddest possible life and not let their feet touch the ground and all those kinds of things. But but subjectively, that the actual fact of it, I think children have a right to normalcy. But so it seems to me, it does seem. I don't know. Because it seems likely to be traumatizing. Risking a child's well-being in something that's likely to be traumatizing is abusive. To me, that's the way I would interpret. But it does seem like she was very well treated, and somebody must have done a good job with her because she seems. I mean, you don't know. She might be like the most horrible person in the.
I mean, it's a puff piece written about her, or a human interest piece.
But
so.
she does. I mean, she appears to not be like a maniac out of control.
Sure.
Is it the jean jacket? Is that what gave it away?
The jean jacket. And she has a normal haircut. I don't know why that counts, but you're like, oh yeah, she didn't do anything weird with her hair. She looks like a normal person. Just like not like there's some people that you go, oh, they're still trying. They're still trying to be just be normal. I don't know. Jeff?
Yeah, I want to say Pino with Pio said converting her would be epic.
Oh.
I agree. We should
But
pray
that's true for
her.
everybody.
Yeah, it is. But like, imagine having a person come to the Catholic faith and then say, this is what it was like growing up in this situation. Not just like some random dudes talking about it from the outside, but hearing the inside story of it would be
I had to be honest with
incredible.
you. I always feel a little pang of distaste whenever someone is proposed as a target of conversion. Like, I feel like
Get her!
that's not the right spirit. That's not the spirit that brings hearts to Jesus.
Is it because of the
what if
fame?
we got this guy? Like, okay, just calm down.
It's like collecting playing cards, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like,
I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, every single person deserves to know the love of God given in the person of Jesus. That for some reason I get a little skeevy about that.
So somebody says,
Like when we get Shia LaBeouf, we got one. Like, settle down. Like,
we got Shia, we kind of have Mel. We're kind of working on that, We have Mark
don't ever
Wahlberg.
pick on Mel. I've said this before. Don't pick
Look,
on Mel.
we want him to be part of the team, but he just keeps denying part of the team, a major part of the team.
We all fall short of the glory of God. Every single one of us.
you have
Even
it?
Jeff can.
I think he has it.
But like there are people that if you can get Clovis to be a Catholic, you get 1,500 years of Catholic France. So yeah, some people, I get it, but I never feel really sanguine about it. Like, ooh, let's get that person in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's using the eyes of a person rather than, a faithful person rather than what God's plan is. But, like you say, there are some good gets. When you get Constantine, the Roman Empire flips.
Yeah, right.
Constantine or Mel.
Hi, Si.
Oh, was that Constantine? That sounded like Constantine to me. The great Mel Gibson, who I saw was at the Conor McGregor fight.
He was there?
He was there with what's the other guy's the tall guy? What's his name?
Oh, Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. Yeah, the two of them were there together.
Yeah. He turned and looked at, I think the people were speculating, they read his lips. He was telling Vince Vaughn his knees messed up.
Oh, he did.
To Vince Vaughn, and Vince Vaughn's like, okay. It's like, he lost a bet. That should have been the topic for today. Conor McGregor and the downfall after he becomes Catholic. Come on, this is a little bit of humility.
Oh, I didn't know that. But if we could just get Conor
We got
McGregor,
him.
We got Conor McGregor.
So what happened?
So I think he recently got married in the church.
Okay.
And there's
Was he raised Catholic or was
he's Irish probably, but he was very much secular.
Well, I don't know if you've heard about Ireland, but most people are not raised.
Well,
Catholic
I mean,
there.
they're cradle Catholics, most of them, right?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
Baptized
the nominal
pagans.
Catholics.
Just
in
say
a
the
way.
nominal Catholics. There you go. That's it. But recently, there's been. I think he recently met the Pope too. I could be wrong on that.
He did.
Yeah, but I would say we should play one of his famous clips, but we probably shouldn't because it's all foul language
From Conor.
from Conor McGregor.
But you know what? It's joyful news when anybody comes into the Catholic Church. But is it like he sincerely became a Catholic?
I think he sincerely
Because
became
I did read
Catholic.
after that thing. He said, "I'm in a dark place
Yeah.
and I'm going to church tomorrow."
Yeah.
So I was glad to see that he was seeking the consolation of.
There have been a lot of pictures and videos of him at church. I think, he recently married his wife in the church. So he's coming back. So, I mean, there's obviously something good there, but I think it's been probably him hitting rock bottom or at least getting close to it with alcohol and drugs and all of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, that'll do it. So we should
we should get Connor.
sick him on the devil. Now that we've got him, we should sick him on the devil. Devil doesn't stand a
I'd
chance
watch
against
that
Conor
fight.
McGregor.
Yeah.
Oh, the devil would come up limping in that one. Let me tell you. All right, I want to go on to another story. May I?
You may.
Hungary has a national fireworks show, and it's every August. It's the 20th of August in Hungary. That's right. Don't say like we don't cover the news of the entire world. We've been. Was I in Nepal or Tibet? Now I forgot where. Nepal.
Nepal.
I said Tibet before.
You did say Tibet.
Sorry, Tibet or Nepal. I don't know who is offended in that one. Now we're going to Hungary. On the 20th of August, they have an annual fireworks display over the Danube River, because that's their river. And let me just read you a little bit of the, I don't know. Hungary's national fireworks costs shrink, but many still call it wasteful. Tradition or money down the drain, a state-funded jolly for all, or an outdated form of animal cruelty. This is by Zoltán Ziposhegi, and writing in Euronews. And as 20 August nears, the yearly row over whether Hungary needs fireworks and how big they should be ignites. Hungarians, get your act together. You're fighting over this? The dispute surrounding Hungary's 20 August state celebration goes far beyond the question of whether there will be fireworks over the Danube. The controversy that has unfolded in recent weeks is about the use of public money, environmental protection, national traditions, and the role of state representation, but above all, about punishing the lounge group owned by... Why did I do a Hungarian story? Gyula Balyasi. The situation is unusual in that while the government has confirmed that this year's festival fireworks will go ahead, their organization has been placed in completely new hands. All right, so there's an internal battle going on. But I liked this story. I will tell you why I liked this story, because I'm totally in favor of fireworks, even though they do, in fact, terrify my dog. I think fireworks is a great idea. It's a super good way to celebrate the 4th of July and apparently August 20th or whatever else you're celebrating. Fireworks is fun. People like it. It's exciting. It brings people out together to the banks of the river or to the park or wherever you're shooting those babies off this time. And I think people should just stop fussing about how much it costs or it makes smoke. It makes smoke.
Yeah, I'm not. Gosh, I want to take this in a bunch of different directions, but there's something great about a celebration like this, especially if it's to celebrate, I don't know, your country, that you should be proud where you live. And I remember reading that during the fall, I don't know, there's always competition between England and France, right? They're always fighting amongst each other. But I remember reading something that that when one of the countries started falling apart was when the sense of pride, patriotism, or pride for their nation, when it started dwindling down, that's when the country really started to crumble. I think it's things like this that keep pride for your nation alive. And it really is a form of unity, because you can come together and watch the fireworks to celebrate the greatness of your country with people that you might not agree with on all sorts of stuff, that you may be opponents in other topics, but this is something you can come together and just be at peace with.
Well, the mayor of Budapest doesn't agree with you. His argument is that the pyrotechnic display involves significant air and noise pollution, harms wildlife, and the public money spent on it would, in his view, be far better used elsewhere.
I think that's such a lame argument.
You're rolling your eyes at the mayor of Budapest.
All the way back, yeah.
How can you? This is the Honorable Sir Lord Mayor of Budapest.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Jeff Cam.
If that even
I'm
is
the
your
third
name.
seat in this first-rate podcast.
No, go ahead.
Okay, there is one place where that money would be better set, and it's back in the taxpayers' pockets. But otherwise,
I don't even know if I agree with you on that. But go ahead. Go ahead. Make your point.
But otherwise, no, do these things. It's good to have
Fun.
Fun, exactly. Yeah. Oh, there's a little smoke. It's not like it's like they're shooting up these things and there's, like lead paint spraying everybody or some nonsense like that.
You don't know how Hungarian fireworks work.
It
It could, in fact, be lead paint spray that they're putting in those.
It could be, but if that were the case, they would just be discussing getting fireworks from America, who probably has the best fireworks. But it's just it's this idea that we have to supremely optimize every last little taxpayer dollar. Like, no, we don't. I mean, now
you're right.
And the other thing is like, so maybe you want to do a drone thing, and drone things are cool, but like, who's the homie hookup that you're contracting for the drones thing, right? Yeah. Like, there's a grift that's already in place.
I would rather see a drone thing than a fireworks show.
Generally,
if the drones blew up. The short of that, I don't want to see a drone thing.
If they blew up at the end,
at the end they all like make a big flag of Hungary and they just.
That's what they'll do after the first clanker war is over, right? We'll have fireworks, we'll send drones, and then we'll blow up the drones.
A battle between drones and fireworks would be a heck of a.
Yeah.
But that thing you said about optimizing, that to me is one of the. It's one of the sins of the modern world. Is this idea that everything is supposed to be optimized. Nothing is supposed to be just enjoyed. Nothing is supposed to just be what it is. And everything's going to be, as if you could, somehow get that, like Marie Kondo. You know who she is, Marie Kondo? Mm-hmm. Like, does it bring me joy? And do all that? You know what? Just have a mess in your house. Relax. Stop trying to optimize everything.
And let's be honest. It's usually governments. Are they really optimizing every dollar that's being spent?
Yeah,
let's
be honest. What's the mayor of Budapest going to do with this?
He's going to optimize it with his buddies so he can get the kickback. That's what he's going to
right.
optimize.
Like, okay, let's see if you what to take seriously here. Significant air and noise pollution.
Do you take noise that clears up?
That's the point. I love that when you get the boom and your chest vibrates because it's so loud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So X, you get no check mark for air or noise, and the air pollution. Really? Like what's the damage of fireworks to the come on. Harms wildlife.
They're just scared for a second. That's it.
What does it do to wildlife? I mean, it falls in the river. Right? The fish are like, I've never eaten smoke before. And
a fish is better if it's smoked. Let's be honest.
There you go. So it probably makes the fish taste better.
That's right.
I mean, is that a serious objection? It harms wildlife. Like if we were having a thing in Budapest where everyone gets an AK-47 and gets to shoot at animals.
That sounds.
It was starting to sound good there for a minute. But
not the animals part, but just.
Yeah, but like this is silly. This is trivial. The animals are fine. Public money spent on it would be, in his view, far better used elsewhere. I'm sure there are situations in which that is true. I doubt that's true in Budapest.
You know what also reminds me of is the argument that people have against the Catholic Church, saying they have all these riches. Why don't they just sell everything and feed the hungry?
Right.
And it's like
because the hungry like to go to church.
Yeah. I mean, or what's wrong with being able to have a place where you have beautiful art that everybody can walk in and enjoy it all the time, or sell it and feed a person once.
Temporary.
Right.
And sell it to whom?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, sell it to whom?
It's a false kind of morality that gets in high dudgeon about things where, you know what, like all the gold in this church, okay, first of all, who is all the gold in this church for? I mean, yes, it's for God, and that you don't, okay, I get it. You probably don't believe in God if you're making this, but it's also for every single person who comes in here, like, gets to experience this.
Yeah.
It's
not a private collection that only sits for a few people. It's for everyone.
It's right.
Yeah.
And it's and it was given by the people who wanted to sit here and see beautiful statuary and windows and we were some of the Catholic Answers people were in Strasbourg Cathedral not long ago. It's just one of the greatest buildings in the world. I was astonished by Strasbourg Cathedral. Why is it there? Because people, generation after generation, they just kept giving money to build it because they wanted to build it. Now, what do you want to go? Well, that's what they wanted. Yeah. But if we sell it, then make apartments out of it or something.
And sell it to who? I think
who are you going to sell Strasbourg Cathedral to?
but they say that about all the beautiful artwork in the Vatican. They tend to make the argument, And it's, like you said, sell it to who? And then if you sell it to somebody rich, ends up in a private collection, which that person will, and their select few get to see it. But I guarantee you that the people who are reiterating this argument are also the people saying, well, you shouldn't own that because nobody should have that kind of money.
It belongs in a museum.
Yeah, exactly. Where they can charge you to walk in the door. So keep it in a church where it's free and you can walk in every day.
And a lot of that art, the reason that it's there is that the church kept it and protected it over the centuries. And you go, well, we don't need that anymore. Well, you don't know what's going to happen 2 centuries from now, or what? Like, do you trust that the museums are going to be taking care of this art? You don't know. So it is a kind of patrimony for the whole world. I will say something maybe slightly controversial here. All of that being said, I think the Vatican owns too much art. I do think they should get rid of some of it.
And go where? And put it where?
I don't know. I mean, I sell it.
I agree. They should get rid of the modern art section of their collection.
Well, no, I don't. I just mean that it's too concentrated in one place.
They could push it out to churches and cathedrals and such.
It could, yeah. Like you
Around the
could,
world.
that could be the first choice. You could say, some of these thousands of paintings that actually rarely see the light of day. I just think we could make better use of. You could say to New York, the cathedral in New York, what pieces would be good for you, or say to the cathedral in LA, just push it out.
Or create a chain of Vatican museums around the world that have their collections.
Or rent it out. I mean, I know they do rent out some of it, that it's in other places. But I do tend to agree that at a certain point, I don't think that's the case with the texts, with the books, all of that kind of stuff. I think that's a kind of patrimony but if it's a painting that the church owns, that's essentially one of the 50,000 other paintings that are in Vatican City, that seems to me not a good use of the art. I think that's a mistake. And my argument is not because the church is so rich. The argument is it could be much better utilized if you had a system to get it out, let it generate funds that could go pay for hospitals or schools or all that kind of stuff, or the crazy debts that the Vatican itself runs up. I do think it is a patrimony. That you're not the Michelangelo's Pietà. You don't give that up. You don't sell that. But there's a lot of. I mean, if the Vatican Museum, I didn't really enjoy the Vatican Museum.
Really?
It's a cluttered mess. I mean, in some of the rooms I enjoyed, but I have to be honest, I don't like zoos. I don't like museums. I don't like stuff all hung together.
You don't like stuff.
If you go to, I don't like stuff. But if you go to somebody's house and there's a painting on the wall, I think, and you go, whoa, look at that, and you don't know who painted it or anything, but it's just striking. I could enjoy that way more than I could enjoy 50 paintings in a museum.
It's because it's the same thing as like option paralysis, because where you have so much of it, you just become meh to it.
What about 50 paintings in one house?
Yeah, sometimes that's the case.
Have you been to Jeff's house?
Do you have 50 paintings?
That's in one
Probably
room.
so, yeah.
Really?
In one room. You should,
Tell me about that. Why do you have all these paintings?
Because my wife loves to hang paintings, so she'll.
I'm
grab
such a
stuff and
huge
put 'em
fan
up
of her
there.
because we have my son-in-law. No, I shouldn't say son-in-law. Sorry, I don't have a son-in-law. My he's our guy. He calls it a salon wall, but I didn't know that was the name for it. We always called it art wall, and we have 2 art walls in our house, and I love it. I love that, but they're not. It's not like we went out and bought fine art.
No,
Missy finds things that she likes, and then builds these.
Jeff has an art
salon
bathroom.
walls. You have art bathroom? We do too. We have
an
art
art
bathroom.
bathroom.
It's more of like a friends and family photographs bathroom.
Oh yeah, but no,
you're surrounded.
Ours is art, and sometimes I'm like, really? That's going in the bathroom? Like there's this one, this like, it was, I think it might have been magazine art from the 19th century or something, and it was in a frame, but it's like a little girl, but her hair is weird. I'm like, I don't think I want that. but she has great taste, and she puts together these salon walls, and that's what your wife but the whole house.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's great.
Justin Webster says, so Cy wants to be the judge of which art the Vatican should keep.
Yes, I would like that job. Are you thinking that would insult me somehow, that you would say that? Yes, I would take that job. Better than this job. No.
I mean, at the Vatican, I mean.
You get to live in Rome.
Yeah.
I mean,
He could
come
do
on.
this job from the Vatican. Though, right?
Why is Rome so great? Is it all the art that's around? Or
Yeah, well, that's
the
part
architecture,
of it.
the art?
Mostly the
You know,
food,
stuff
but
you want to
yeah.
get rid of?
Yeah.
The pizza.
The history.
gelato.
Gelato.
Yeah.
The food is just say it, the food.
I loved the Vatican Museum. I want to put that on the record. And I loved. Did you go to the room? Because it's like you got to split, right? So you got to go the one way or the other way, and you can't go back.
Yeah.
So I only
don't
went one
remember
day.
that.
I missed it, this is one of those like there's too much art. But I went on the side where you had the maps, those giant maps they're like tapestries maps. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I never saw it.
It's the coolest room ever. It's just imagine being a king 500 years ago, and you walk into your great room and you've got these tapestries that are maps of your where you own.
Yeah, it would be great if that was out somewhere where people could see it.
My favorite part of all that were the Raphael rooms, where you have
Oh,
all
really?
the famous pictures that you see. I mean,
To me, there was one particular Bernini statue I could not stop looking at, and I didn't care about anything. I think I was like, yeah, I need that one statue. There is so much clutter in that place. I mean, the statuary halls.
it's
are
not
like,
piled up though. It's like
It kind of is.
It's
in some
kind of
places.
not.
It kind of is.
No, I think you're wrong on that
Go
one.
in those statuary halls. It's just like 3 statues with 4 statues behind it. You're like, really? That's how we're gonna display all this
Did we
stuff?
go to different tours? Like, what are you talking about?
He went on the other side, I guess. Yeah. He went on
Maybe
the right
they
side, I
told
went
me
left.
it was the Vatican Museum, but it was just some kind of dusty old shop.
My favorite image in one of the Raphael rooms is an image of a crucifix, and it has painted like a floor, and at the bottom is a smashed image or like a smashed statue image of a false god. So the statue is smashed and the crucifix is up front, like standing before it. It's so
Where
cool.
is this?
It's in one of the Raphael rooms.
Oh yeah, I never saw it because there was 8,000 other things there.
Jeez.
That would be so. Like when you go to that little church where maybe the greatest sculpture ever made, Saint Teresa in Ecstasy.
That one's amazing.
That it's in a church. Like you're like, that's what this is.
It's
for.
all like one of the side altars. You're like,
Yeah.
oh.
But to me, a giant museum just jammed with stuff. I don't think it's the best use. I think that it would be better for the Vatican to rethink that and go, what can we sell, and what can we loan?
First thing they should sell.
And by loan, I mean rent.
The first one they should sell is what Justin Webster's mentioning. I do have to agree, though, that some Vatican art sucks. I dislike the sculpture in the Paul VI audience hall. That's the first thing they should go.
That guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
The resurrection one?
Yeah.
It's too scary. It
I will
doesn't
tear it
work.
down
The
myself.
post-apocalyptic
Is that what he is?
nuclear war, Jesus, the rubble of, I don't know.
I think we're going to find out at the end of time that particular statue is responsible for more ignorance that's unaccountable because invincible ignorance.
I don't think
it's so scary.
I don't think that piece of art speaks well of the church.
No.
I think it speaks ill of the church, and I think
Yes.
they should put it somewhere else.
I think there's a lot of people who are like, "Whoa, what's the Catholic Church do?" And they see that and they're like, "Ho!"
I know. Most
I'll
Catholics
pass.
do too.
Yeah.
And the popes are a little bit passive about art, I think. In the old days, popes were vicious about art. They didn't like it. Their predecessor spent half the treasury on it. They didn't care. They get rid of it.
Yeah, but at least
now
some
they
of
just
that
come
stuff
out
is
and
good.
go, they do their little thing, and they never, like, Father, look up. Like, get rid of that thing. That does not speak well of the church. But I don't know. I'd get rid of some of it. You wouldn't. You'd hold on to every little scrap of it.
I would push. Well, the two things I get rid of is that ugly sculpture in the Paul VI. I'll put it somewhere that's not so public facing. And then who's the Father Rupnik stuff? Like
I'm literally
what?
just looking up
Bomb
his
that.
stuff.
What
Just
is he
like-
there? Is he in the Vatican? I didn't know they
I don't know
had.
he's in the Vatican, but he's like there's stuff where he's.
It's what really freaked me out when I first saw
art is
his
so
art was
seen.
the Year of Mercy logo. The Jesus
gonna
and the
look at
Good
it.
Shepherd holding the guy over his shoulder, and they share an eye, so it's like his 3-eyed looking thing. Kind of creepy, kind of weird. I understand the symbolism, but just because there's symbolism behind something doesn't mean it's good. I think another time I recognized that was when I was in the Cathedral of Oakland, in Oakland, California. they're explaining, oh, this is what this means. This rail means this. It's like, just because it has significance doesn't mean it's any good or it's actually beautiful. You're tying in a significance to something that really doesn't matter.
The thing I think people...
Isn't that just ugly?
Yeah, it is ugly. I'm looking at it right now. And I don't like the weird dead eyes of Father Rupnik's art. And I know that I'm not the first person to say that. But I think if you think about it, what people liked in Father Rupnik's art, unless I am mistaken, is extremely elaborate use of tile and very colorful use of tile. And those are good qualities. Like, I think we shouldn't have such a reaction against Father Rupnik, and I don't think it's great art, but I do think this idea of, like, some of the pictures I've seen of the churches that he's done where the mosaic is really just basically covering the church. I think that's a very good idea. I think that's a very good idea, and I hope we'll get some good artists over the next century who will do.
But when
more
you
of
have
that.
it, when you have a church that, I don't know. So I was in Madrid a couple of years ago, and the cathedral that sits across from the Royal Palace in Madrid. When you first walk in to do a tour of this cathedral, the first room you go into is actually a room where Father Rupnik's art is there. And I remember walking in, I was like, oh, I know exactly who did this. And Lena was looking, oh, this is really beautiful, it's significant. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't fit with the rest of the place, and it just takes you out of it. I mean, the beauty of the rest of the cathedral, this room is nothing compared to that. It just looks cartoony and weird, and the dead eyes kind of frightening. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, but you see that a lot in the Catholic Church has had a lot of patience for making revisions to churches that make no sense. Like, you see these in Europe, you'll see these basilicas that are very, very old, and then a Baroque altar, and you're like, they just didn't care. They were like, but it's a beautiful altar, just stick it in there, and the altar will be obstructing some of the beautiful art behind it, and you're just like, that's not a not Catholic view. That's very Catholic to be completely out of place with things in church.
To tie this back into Budapest, the cathedral there, St. Stephen's, there were 3 architects that worked on it, and you could tell because it has 3 different styles on the outside. Because the first guy built like the bell tower, and then he died, and the next guy came in and created like the arch in the middle, and then the other guy came and made the big old Roman dome in the back. It's just like
that's
3
Catholic,
different.
Man. I hate to say it, but if that's Catholic. That's really Catholic. But I think there's something about mosaic that is super Catholic, and I feel like Father Rupnik like got us to think about mosaic again. And I think that is a contribution. Even if I am not very fond of his characters, his designs I think are quite beautiful, but the way that he makes characters, they look like 1970s to me cartoons. They don't look like. They don't have a real beauty, his figures.
It's what you imagine on the front of a packet that's for the synod that you're going to go sit into, right? Like, welcome church. Anyone?
Yeah, okay. I get you. It's all the art that, for different themes of the church in the more recent years.
Yeah.
It's just this weird, abstract. It looks like it was drawn by a kid.
Yeah.
With a crayon, literally.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm thinking of specifically the art of the LA Rec, the Religious Education Congress. It still looks like they're doing stuff from like the 80s and the 90s, and it looks like it's all drawn by my 1-year-old with a crayon.
I know. Why do we do this? I mean, it's like.
Come on, we got a better track.
I sometimes feel like the attitude of Catholics in many areas is we're doing it for Jesus, so let's give it our worst. Like we just have this feeling like that because we're doing it for Jesus, it doesn't have to even meet the world standards. Rather than the other view, which is it should be so far in excess of the world's standards. So
he meets you where you are, Si. So you just bring all of your wretchedness to him, including your minimal effort.
Yeah, well, that is a significant part of my wretchedness. But I will say, though, I don't. I hope that the reaction against Father Rupnik, which I do think is well earned, does not become a reaction against Mosaic per se. And really, I think he was almost excessive in his use of Mosaic, and I think that's good. I think it's a good thing. But I grew up in Southern California churches, which are notoriously not beautiful. Notoriously not beautiful.
Except for
we've
the
gotten
missions.
better, and we've got what's that?
Except for the missions.
Yeah, the missions are, but they're beautiful in a kind of historical way.
Yep.
Not, and that white coating on the outside of most of them, that still white stucco, is striking. But they're not beautiful in the way, a great church of Europe is beautiful.
Or even like the Midwest. You go to the Midwest.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Every church is beautiful. Sometimes certain.
Right, like
areas.
some of these churches that the German immigrants built in some Michigan town that you never even heard of
Yep.
are, in an objective sense, more beautiful than the California missions. But they had materials and they had money that the California
Have you
missions
seen
didn't
St.
have.
Joseph's Basilica in Milwaukee? That thing is
it crazy?
amazing. It's a Polish church.
Yeah.
You can imagine those Polish people love their churches. They're
Yeah.
massive churches.
Right, and they, you know what we should do? We should sell those. We should sell those churches.
Maybe
Give
the
money to the
Diocese
poor.
of San Diego could buy them then.
Buy 'em and
Ship 'em
move 'em.
out here.
I know. Put them on wheels and just roll them over this way because
Yeah.
we need them.
Now you can't beat though. One thing about here is yesterday I was at mass, in the basilica, and there's that open air walkthrough in the middle. I was right in the pew, right in front of that, and just the perfect temperature
I know.
breeze
When
was
that
hitting
breeze,
me.
I know. Those walls
This is
in the
heaven.
missions are thick.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of straw in them. And so even when it's hot out, you generally feel pretty nice and cool. But then you get that cross breeze. It's weird that people have to walk across the church all the time, though. Like mass is going on, and people are like, excuse me, gotta go through here.
That's how we get them.
Is that how we get them?
Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes I think we do get them that way.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree with you. There's something so great about sitting in that Mission San Diego church. It's just magnificent. And, it's the oldest building within 100 miles of here, probably. So
Could be.
it has that. Yeah. All right, dudes. I don't even remember how we started talking about this. Oh, because the fireworks and
Beauty.
this instrumentalizing of human life, that if it's not efficient and if it doesn't make perfect, efficient use of my time or my resources, I think it's driving people insane. I think we've got to stop it, have a little bit of fun. People are like thinking that they're, I don't know. I think people think that they're like sinning when they do just normal things like water their lawn these days, because it's like everybody's so guilted about everything. That is just not Christian. That is not Jesus. Jesus was not going around going, have you overwatered your lawn? Like, did you shoot off a firework? He's just not fussy in that way, and I think I don't dig it. All right, we got to do the radio show now, unless you guys got more to add.
I don't.
No,
All right,
Fireworks
here,
are fun.
rock, paper, scissors to see who does the outro, you or me.
Okay.
Ready? You go one,
Yep.
two.
Do we do the shoot?
1, 2,
or-
3, shoot.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Oh, 1, 2, 3, shoot. Yeah, you do it.
Oh, so I won? Okay. Thanks for coming
You
to
lost,
Supershow,
dude.
everybody. We will see you here in 10 minutes back with, we have an AMA. Is that today?
AMA
on the Mass.
On the Mass.
On the
For
Mass.
2 hours.
For 2 hours with, who's our guest?
Tom Nash first, Tim Staples second.
Tom Nash and Tim Staples for the second
He hosts
hour.
like I host. Just ask other people while you're making the announcement. What am I supposed to be saying right now? Okay, thank you so much.
That's right, yeah. I just,
It's about 50% of your job, right?
50% is being prepared. The other 50% is figuring out what to do now that I'm not prepared. Peace.
Later.